everyone, welcome to a new video on the channel. Today we are setting up the month of February in my reading journal, and with each month I choose a book to inspire my theme by. Last month I did a fantasy novel, so I'm going to attempt over 2023 to alternate between fantasy and romance, so that means this month is a romance book, and I have chosen Set on You by Amy Lea. This was a debut novel last year and it was one of my absolute favourite reads. I would have to say it was I think the second most favourite read in the year for romance. I absolutely loved the story, the characters, everything, and so since we're looking at the month of love and how much I enjoyed the relationship between Scott and Crystal, the main characters, I thought they would be perfect for this theme. So I made a video recently talking about my struggles with my blackout journal. I will have it linked below if you haven't seen it yet. One of the struggles I've been having was what to use in it because it's taking a little bit longer for things to dry and there's a bit of a wait time. So for Christmas I actually got a pack of Acrylographs. I got the warm full set and the 3mm nib, and I'm really happy with how they work. There's a little bit of a mixed result, but for the most part I'm really happy with how opaque they are, how easy they dry, and just how well they are to use. I'm definitely going to try out some other paint pens to see which ones I prefer and if they're more readily accessible here in New Zealand. But for now these are the only paint pens I've got. I used two in this setup, this really lovely warm red tone that looks kind of pink on the paper, and I used it for all the headers. I went ahead and put down all the other headers off camera just because I wanted to test the pen out, see how I felt about it, and I really had a good experience with it. But I left this first page so I could share it with you all, putting it on and have a bit more experience on film. The other pen I used is the one where I had a little bit less of a good result with, and I'll talk about that when I get to it. But we are now setting up the collage. Each month I try to do a collage inspired from looking on Pinterest, and normally I choose books that have dedicated Pinterest's aesthetic searches. This book only had maybe 3-4 photos that came up, so I really had to dig deep into what I remembered about the story and try and find things. And yes, there is a bathtub. If you know, you know. It was such a good book and I absolutely recommend it. It's one of my favourite all-time romance reads, and I'm so excited to pick up X's and O's. In New Zealand the the release date was pushed back. I've been waiting to pick up a copy for the longest time now, and hopefully tomorrow it will be out and I can go pick up a copy. But I'm super excited for how this spread came together. I used my Cricut to make stickers as well, so you can see the main quote is a sticker, and also I have all these hearts. Now I definitely need to get myself some fine tweezers so I can put these down with a little bit more finesse, because you'll see that I start to struggle a little bit with some of these stickers and their placement. And overall I'm really happy that I decided to fill in the space with all these little hearts, but cutting them out on the Cricut I didn't expect them to all be individual as they are. It worked out in my favour in the end because I could really use them like confetti and just spread them everywhere to fill in the gaps in the black, so it doesn't on the black paper, so it doesn't look so bare. But yeah, it was a struggle to put them down, and in future spreads I've actually cut out the amount of time that you'll see on camera of me trying to get these stickers off the paper, off my fingers, and onto the book. But I'm really happy with how this cover page came together. If you've been following me for some time, I used to do the cover page with also a section for my favourite read of the month, but I am changing that up this year and I am hoping to put that in my stats section. I'll share a little bit more of that when I do my monthly wrap-up in the next few days. I can't believe that we're already into the last full week of January. It's crazy to me, and I just cannot believe how fast this year is going already. But don't we say that every year? We're almost finished putting down all these stickers of hearts, and then we'll be moving on to the next page. but I am really thrilled with how this came together, and as you can see I've already got my headers down for the rest of it. So this is the second acrylograph. It's a light pink. It looks a bit more white on camera, and I've had to cut out a lot of the footage because I keep putting my head in the camera view. But as you can see, I had a little bit of an issue with bleeding through underneath the ruler, but I can easily fix that. I found a really good solution for that. But the pen isn't as opaque, which is kind of okay. It's almost given me a bit of a chalkboard feel with these pens, the way that they dry on the paper and how they look, and I'm not mad about it at all, but I did have some struggles with this on my last page that we set up in this video, which I will talk about, like I said, when we get there. Overall though, I'm really happy with the choice of using mostly acrylographs this month to work with. Definitely a lot easier than the other pens I used last month, which were the metallic 𝓘𝓽𝓮𝓼, I think they are, or are they Staedtler? Hold on, you might hear some pens moving. I'll just quickly grab it. It's Staedtler, the metallic markers. I really like them, but they do definitely smudge quite easily, and I had a bit of struggle putting them down. I still think I will use these types of markers for my line work, but it was nice to not have to rely on the Moonlight Collection jelly rolls as much for the majority of the spread. As you can see, I'm using 3 colours to do down my key for that calendar that you can see that's forming there. This is where I chuck down what I read each day. I read almost every single day, and I like to keep down the percentage of what I read. This year I'm consistently making sure that I only write down the percentage. I used to write down the page number if I was reading it off of my Kindle, but I think for consistency and clarity I'm just going to continue on with the percentage. It's working really, really well so far. And I struggled with which washi tape to put down here, but I ended up using this heart washi tape that I've had for the longest time. I think I've had this since the first year that I bullet journaled, which I think was 2017, maybe earlier than that. It's been in my collection for a long time. I am definitely a hoarder of washi tape, and if I see cute ones at the shop I will definitely buy more, which is a bad habit of mine because I have run out of space of storing my washi tape. Over the month of February, I really hope that I can get a bit more creative in my other journal with trying to use other stickers and stuff. I'm trying very hard to step out of my box of how I decorate things in my journal, just get a bit more creative, try new things, so then when I come to this journal maybe I can feel a little bit more confident. That was one of the issues I was having with this journal over January. I think I've resolved it mostly, but I mentioned in my previous video that I was feeling a little bit less confident about my ability to work with this paper since it's so new. But learning curves are there for a reason, and I think we'll be flying along very, very soon. So just going through and cutting off that excess washi tape, then I will probably be putting down some stickers, and I will cut half of that out because I don't want you to see me struggle with placementing and putting them down again. But the other thing we have to do on this page is the numbers. I almost forgot, and I actually cut out the part where I flipped the page and then went, hang on, I think I've forgotten something. So you'll see that there's numbers now. We're going to move on to the next page after I fix these little mistakes with my black pen, which is a godsend, and we're going to have more stickers. I didn't mention on the last page, which I should have, I made little Instagram stickers, so fake Instagram posts, and then stuck them down into Cricut and resized them and all. I thought this was a really clever idea because if you've read Set on You, the main female character is a influencer, fitness influencer, and so she writes on her Instagram, really upbeat posts and all about how her journey is with fitness and with her body. And so I decided to use that theme with the Instagram posts as my main decorating source on the pages that weren't the front cover, and had little quotes. It was really challenging because I wanted to use more important quotes that I really enjoyed through the book, but with the way that the fake posts work, you only get a certain amount of characters before it does the little dot 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 and then more. So all my favorite quotes got cut, so they're not as important to read out. I will put them in the description below with everything like I normally do each month, so you can see what the quotes say. But I thought it was a really cute touch in the end. We've already moved on very quickly from my TBR post page, and it's pretty empty at the moment because I haven't yet done the TBR jar game and worked out my February TBR. That's next on my list to do. But we're on the final page now, and as you can see right now, this is where I started to struggle. This pen would not go opaque, and it really annoyed me. I regret filling in the bar at the top. I could have just left it the way it was and then just written in the notes that I needed to there for the headers, but I tried very hard to make it work. I'm very new to these pens, so I'm not sure what I was doing wrong, but it wouldn't go opaque at all. Definitely something that I need to look into in the future and see how I can make it go a bit more opaque, but I'm not completely mad with it. It still has that very chalkboard feel to it. The pen that I used over top, however, did not look right, and I should have gone with a black pen perhaps. Just going to do the final little bit of decorating down the bottom here with another sticker with another quote on it, and I had to cut it to make it fit into that little section, and then go and fill in those headers. So this page is pretty much done now, as is the setup. If you're wondering where my stats page is, if you're new here, I fill that in on my monthly wrap up. Each month gives me a little bit of something to do while I'm talking over about the books that I've read. I do want to try and change things up a little bit and do another type of wrap up video just talking about books. If you'd be interested in that, I'm going to give it a go over January, and if you like it enough, I'll continue it. Otherwise, I'll just keep with the one journal video. So yeah, that is the setup for February. I really hope that you like it. I'm unsure if I'm going to take part in a readathon that happens every February or not, so I haven't yet filled that page in. If I do, it'll be next to this one. I also skipped a page between January and February by accident, so I'm going to have to fill that in, and I think I might fill that in on camera with you all. Here is the final flip through. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope you like this theme. I'm really excited to use it and try out different techniques as we go through this journal, and I hope that you have a wonderful day wherever you are. Bye everyone!